The first kit I want to show you are called Summer Doodles, and this has a range of cards that has lots of mixed media techniques. It's fun to do, and actually the finished results are really lovely. So there's 6 individual designs with easy stitches, worked on our tweed, a lovely project. The first thing I want to show you is all how to start your kit. Once you've opened your kit, you'll find inside full detailed instructions, and you'll find a piece of fabric. Now this has got the 6 designs on, and the first task is to put the organza and place it onto your fabric. So in the kit you'll get loads of colours, and there will be a plan of where I've put the colours as a guide. So once you've got some organza, the first thing to do is just have a go at seeing what happens to it when you can stretch it and distort it and fray it. So it's a woven fabric, and you're going to just take the woven fabric and you're just going to cut it along the stretchy part or the bias, and that's going to fray really easily. So you're just going to take the first piece of fabric and you're just going to be a little bit mean to it. You're going to pull the fibres apart and just make it interesting, and then you're going to apply that to the background fabric and just pin those colours in place, and just have a bit of fun adding unusual colours, perhaps pinks and purples, and you can get new colours appearing on your work. So that's the first thing. The next thing I want to show you are all the colours that are in your design. You've got 17 colours there. You've got a mixture of variegated threads, metallic threads, bead thread, and some woolen threads. So lots of textures you can create with these fabulous colours. So the first thing I'm going to show you is I'm going to show you the start of one of the designs. This is the dahlia. So it has a pale blue background and then 2 layers of the red organza. So that's placed over the printed design, and then you're going to start to stitch. So I'm using 3 strands, and this particular stitch, it's probably easiest to work the stitch without the frame on. So I'm just going to bring the needle from the back. I've started with a knot, and I'm just going to take the thread and I'm just going to, it's almost like a back stitch, so I'm going to take a small stitch, and then each time I keep the thread to the top so it doesn't twist, and I'm just going to work round the shape, and that's going to create a lovely smooth curve to the petal. And as you work round your shape, once you've gone all the way round, then you can work at cutting the petal. So I'm just going to stop there just so I can show you. So to fasten off, you just take a couple of stitches at the back, and that's just enough to hold your work in place. So as I turn it back to the right side, I'm just going to move the fabric so that you can cut around the edge, and you're just going to cut away the excess, leaving the blue fabric showing, and that's going to give you the shape of the finished shape of the flower. You can go around that quite carefully, or if you can go around a little bit if you're a little bit unsure, and that's going to give you the first effect of the petal. So I'm just going to show you the finished one. So this is the finished card where I've cut away all the excess, and then I've added a little bit of texture with some beads and a couple of straight stitches. I'm going to show you the next part is I'm going to put my work into the frame. So I have the plastic hoop on the table, and then I'm just going to hold the spring and release the spring, and that's just going to keep the work really nice and taut to complete the stitching. It's easier when you stretch the fabric if you work in a frame. So I've got a couple of things to show you. Can't go through a whole demo without doing a French knot, so I'm going to do one now. Okay, so this is I think it's my favourite stitch. So just to do this, you bring the needle up from the back, and then you're going to just wind the thread around twice. You're just going to go around once, twice, and then you're just going to take that, not into the same place, but 1 thread over, and as soon as you've pushed the needle in, you're just going to tighten that thread, And then as you pull the needle through, you're just going to let it travel in on its own, and it'll just twist itself into place, and you'll get a lovely shaped knot. So I'll just do another one of those. So around these spider's webs, we're just going to fill in with French knots and maybe a few beads. So this is a really, really simple design, just using 2 stitches. Quite fun to do. And you can add as many of those as you wish. The next thing I'm going to show you is a spider's web. So I've got my thread, and there are some printed circles on the fabric just to get the right position. So to start off with, I'm just going to do a cross. Try and keep the stitches the same size, and you're just going to work over the fabric and then work in between. So you're almost making like a clock. And you can add as many legs into this as you want. I'm just doing one in between at the moment. And once you've gone all the way around, the next thing to do is to go back to the centre and actually start covering the legs, the spider's web. So I'm going to bring the needle back into the middle, and this time I'm going to use the eye of the needle. So I'm just going to turn the needle round, and then I'm going to go back round and under the next one, and I'm just going to keep going round. And as you work, slowly turn your work so that you can just go all the way around. And if you've got a variegated thread, then you'll see the colour changing, and you're just going to go all the way around, and eventually you'll get a complete shape. You can change colours, you can add metallic threads in there, but you'll get the spider's web slowly appearing as you go round. And it's much easier with the eye of the needle, because then you're less likely to go through the fabric, and you're just going round the threads. It's a little bit easier. So you just keep going round and round, and then change colour or continue, and you'll get your whole shape appearing.